battery array.
We have just come in from looking at the battery array.
Three batteries, and they're sequential, or
they are parallel.
They're parallel.
They're parallel.
And what's that? That means positive to positive, positive to positive, end to end, and negative to negative, other direction out.
Exactly. Right. So, just to recap from the last video. Now we've come back inside. We talked about the controller already.
So we're just going to take a quick peek down there at the battery. See all these cables are going out to the batteries, and you may or may not be able to see the battery. You can see that gnarly cable we were trying to pull.
It's very clean and waterproof.
Out. We got to get rid of that. All right, so here we're back. Here's our meter we were looking at a minute ago. You want to pull that up?
That's the generic. We don't really need to cover that again. We know what that's doing. We already talked about that. Which is attached to the controller. Solar's coming into the controller, and then the solar's or the controller is going out to the batteries. We just showed all that.
All right.
So now we're going to go to a separate device.
Come in from the batteries.
Right. Coming in from the batteries, we have two thick cables here. These are 4-gauge wires.
Those are big wires.
And they are big wires, but they're not. No, they're not as big as the 1-gauge.
I think those are 2s.
Well, I got bad information then because I was told 4.
I think these are 4.
And not to throw anybody under the bus, but you told me
these are 4. This is 4, right? So my error.
Okay, my mistake. Yeah. My mistake. You're right. Yeah. We were talking about these when you said 4.
These guys are 4.
Okay,
and
so these are probably 2.
Yeah. Now the controller actually, the inverter actually requests 1-gauge, and I bought 2-gauge. So shame on me.
Okay. Well, it works so far. We'll see once we put a load on.
And if I have this video cannot be used for evidence. If this controller breaks because I have the wrong size wires and I demand a new one?
Don't worry, because if Congress subpoenas you to testify, I will tell them no. Okay? If they want to get me for obstruction.
And I said, like, he's the president. How could you tell? He can do whatever he wants.
That's right.
He doesn't have to obey the law.
Okay, so we have 2-gauge wires coming into what this is an inverter. Now, what is an inverter? Well, an inverter inverts DC current coming from the battery to AC or 110 current so that you can use your general consumer devices like a refrigerator or an air conditioning and plug it into a 3-prong outlet. So that's what the inverter does. It takes that and it converts DC to AC, and you have 2 110 outlets, AC outlets right over here.
Oh, it's reading out some zeros, and there's some numbers coming out of there, Mike.
And it gives you your amperage that's available to you, or your voltage that's available to you, 14.4. So that's coming from the batteries. It's telling you what's available from the batteries.
But amperage is 0 because we believe because 0 amperage is being consumed. It's not available, that's consumed.
It's an interesting question.
We're closing the loop somehow.
We're making an assumption that it's not telling you the amperage being generated or available from the batteries as opposed to the amperage being consumed. I don't know that for sure. So
I wonder.
An interesting thing
I wonder if we were supposed to hook the battery up at the other end. It shouldn't matter.
I don't know why it would matter.
Okay.
Now, do you say at the other end, you don't mean to the same battery where the positives
I do. To? So did you go that way?
I was wondering about that, but I think you're right.
That's what I remember looking at. I looked.
Yeah,
so.
I think
so
you're right.
What do you think we should do as an experiment here?
Well, we're going to go ahead and plug the air conditioning in. The air conditioning takes a lot.
All right, so can we get the meter over here to watch the meter?
Well, I think we're going to watch. We're going to pay attention to 2 things. We're going to pay attention to what is showing on the inverter. Yeah, we're going to pay attention to what is showing on.
Let's get him on the controller
interface.
Perfect. All right, we love this guy. This is Jeffrey's favorite guy.
All right.
He shows that the volts and amperage coming in. Now,
okay. So I want to make sure.
We should be off. You should be able to plug it in.
Well, yeah. We should. Okay.
It'll cycle through.
So I'm going to plug in here.
But nothing will really happen.
And it may cycle. Yeah.
It cycles through. It doesn't turn on.
No, it doesn't turn on. But.
So hang on here. You should be able to leave that sitting there, and I'll get the best end.
Okay. Now, did we see if this changed at all?
Opened and closed.
Notice that in the first video we were showing 19 volts being generated, and now we're showing over 20 volts, which is an indication that it's sunnier at this point.
Right. Let's unplug this and replug this in. While I've got. Hang on here a second. I'm going to cut this one off. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.